What's going on, guys? This is your boy Dontae with DontaesBoxingNation. And let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking for pound the best home health and beauty products, then you need to go to ashkicking.com. That is ashkicking.com. Keep your home smelling fresh and clean with Ash Kicking fragrance products. Treat your skin and hair with Ash Kicking all-natural health and beauty products. Everything you need to create a comfortable home living environment and create comfortable space for entertainment. Pound for pound, the best incense burners in the world, home fragrance products, and health and beauty products, you need to go to ashkicking.com. Also, if you use this promo code DBN317, you'll get 10% off of all your orders. So go ahead and check out the website. That is ashkicking.com.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dontae, baby. Dontae!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dontae's Boxing Nation show. We in the building and it's going down, man. Another great one. Let me first go ahead and introduce. We doing the EPMD style today. I got my co-host in the building with me, my man Milt. What's going on, Milt?
Not much, baby.
All right, man.
Loving it.
All day. We about to get it in, y'all. Hey, Milt, we got a whole lot to talk about this week, man.
A whole lot.
We had a great weekend of boxing. We're going to talk about Thurman versus Garcia. We're going to talk about these huge numbers that they did, finishing number one in the primetime slot on primetime TV, basically.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all the fights that's coming up this weekend. Andrade-Caucay, Charlo-Hatley, everything, right, Milt?
Major, man.
So,
it's major.
Hey, and you guys already know, go ahead and call in. We'll answer the phone lines, and in a minute we'll open up the phone lines. But first things first, let me give shots out to the sponsors, man. Box Fan Expo, man. Make sure you guys come out here, I should say. May 6th weekend for the Box Fan Expo. It's the weekend of Canelo versus Chavez, man. Come meet, greet all your favorite fighters. They're going to all be there, man. Take some pictures with them. Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss it, man. Chop up some boxing and take pictures and do all that good stuff. Also, shouts out to my sponsor, ashkicking.com. Once again, I want to reiterate, if you guys will get 10% off if you guys put in that promo code when you go to the website, it's DBN317, all right? Matter of fact, we got it smelling good in here right now. Milton, he'll tell you the studio is smelling all good. We got that vanilla, smelling, got everything smelling good right now.
Paying off.
So let's go ahead, man. Let me stop jibber jabbering and let's get into some boxing talk, man. So Milton, man, we haven't even really talked too much about it. We talked a little bit before the show started, man. So Keith Thurman. Before we get into Keith Thurman, let's go ahead and talk about the other stuff that surrounded that, because there was a lot of fights that people didn't even get to catch overseas, right, Milt?
Yeah, man. At home and abroad, man. We had some big fights going on this past weekend.
Yeah. Matter of fact, man, let's go ahead and start with Bellew. Tony Bellew, he pulls off probably candidate for biggest upset of the year, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he stops David Haye in the 11th round, but it was a little bit more to it.
There's a little more to it.
But break it down. Explain to people how it went down, Milton, and what your thoughts are on that fight, man.
Hey, I first of all, I want to say, hey, congratulations to Bellew for winning the fight. Sometimes you just got to win it the way that you got to win it. Is all it is to it, but it started off at the end of the day. At the end of the day, a W is a W. But the thing is, the fight started off with Haye trying to blow him out early in the first round. He was missing with some wide shots. Bellew was able to, kind of, slide. I will say this: Bellew does have some damn good footwork, head movement. The defense.
For him to look so flat-footed, he actually has some deceptive defense and a little bit of foot movement, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and a hell of a chin, but that's his main thing.
Yeah, because, I tell you, and then Haye kind of slowed it down a little bit in the second. tried to figure him out, was still kind of throwing wide, but around the third, he started working behind the jab and was catching him with good, clean shots. And Bellew was standing right there. He was taking it. He was absorbing it. Up until round, through 3, 4, and 5. 6th round, they kind of got tangled up. And Bellew goes down. And when he went down, it was like as though Hay was bouncing back to try to see, was he hurt or was he damaged by anything? And as he's stepping back, he landed awkwardly on his right foot. I could see it. I saw it during a replay. You could see that his foot is almost at a 90-degree angle. And I know he was saying that he was having problems with that right foot, with that Achilles going into the fight on fight week last week. He's been had been kind of.
And he went to Germany. I heard that he had went to Germany before the fight to just make sure it was okay.
Right.
Right. For him to actually take the fight and everything.
Right.
Now, some people said he actually went to Germany just for his shoulder injury, but I also heard reports he went for that Achilles injury as well.
I heard he went for the Achilles as well. And then, he basically, Bellew, it took him 5 rounds to take out a man on one leg. And so, because there were points in the fight where David Hay was just up against the ropes, couldn't move, had no movement whatsoever, and he was just sitting there, slipping shots. He was getting caught with a few shots, but it was you would have thought that this man could have put together a few more shots to get him out of there. Before the 11th.
But Milt, do you think that he kind of gassed out just a little bit? Because I first David Hay, because when I first watched the fight, I was watching it on my Fire Stick. Shout out to the Fire Stick, Amazon.
Right.
But I was watching the fight and I caught it at the end, so I didn't get to watch the whole fight till later on. So I caught it around like the 8th round. I missed the injury and everything, but the way David Hay was just winging his shots and he was throwing one punch at a time. He just, to me, even though the injury was there, he looked a little gassed to me. Do you think that played any part in the fight, or you think it was just strictly the leg injury?
I think,
or the ankle injury.
Well, of course they're heavyweights, and with him laboring around on that right leg, it's going to tire him out some. And then he's sitting there trying. He was expending energy just trying to avoid shots. But I don't think it was more so that he was the fatigue more than it was the injury. I think the injury played more of a prominent role. And let me tell you, he was a true warrior. He could have quit. Yeah. He could have stopped. He could have said, "Hey, my foot hurt." And then even after the fight, he made no excuse for the reason for his performance, but it was obvious that something was wrong with him. Because,
definitely.
It was obvious that something was wrong with him, but he gave Bellew all the credit.
Didn't make any excuses, which was classy.
It was classy, and I give it to him.
No doubt about it.
And it was obvious. He was like, hey, he hit him with his best shots. Bellew took it and came right through it, so my hat's off to him. And he just hope he get a rematch.
And that's what I was just about to say, Milt. The thing is he going to get a rematch? Because before the injury, he was winning the fight hands down.
He was.
Right? It wasn't. It wasn't like it was going back and forth. The only thing I think did surprise David Hay was the fact that Tony Bellew, or Bellew, like you guys like to put it, he was able to walk through David Hay's punches. And
I was impressed by that.
And David Hay even said, I was surprised, man, that he was able to walk through my best shots. Yeah. So that's why I wonder if David was just a little gassed. But the way Bellew was talking in the post-fight conference, I don't think he's really interested in the rematch. I think he understands how lucky he was in this fight. He understands, I got a good situation. The guy got injured. God bless me with this man getting injured in the fight, and let's not mess it up. Hey. He's going out Juan Manuel Marquez style, basically.
Hey, right.
After you get the knockout, ain't no way. Marquez said, "Ain't no way you could give me $100 billion. Ain't no way I'm getting back in a fight
That's crazy, right?
In a fight with you. He ain't getting back in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, and that's karma for Manny Pacquiao off the subject because Manny Pacquiao." He kept fighting Marquez over and over again instead of fighting certain fighters that, the public wanted him to fight. Matter of fact, at one occasion, Floyd Mayweather was pursuing a fight with him way before the fight came to fruition.
Yeah, I remember that.
They turned down that fight. I still have the email that Top Rank sent out They sent out an email basically saying, right now we're not interested in the Mayweather fight. We're going to go with Marquez a fourth time or something like that. And karma struck. That's what happened. So anyway, before we take some more calls or before we go on to the next fight, we're going to talk about Paulie Malignaggi, man. Shouts out to Paulie Malignaggi, man. The best pound for pound, the best boxing commentator in the world, and he's been in the ring, but he took a L this weekend, got stopped by Eganton. We're going to talk about that as well. But we're going to open the phone lines a little early tonight, guys, because I appreciate all you guys holding. We got a lot of people already, on the phone line. So let's start with 317. What's going on, man?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, so what do you want to talk about?
It's on you, man. What's on your mind? We've been talking about talking about Thurman-Garcia, everything. What's up?
Well, I want to talk about the Thurman versus Garcia fight.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. What'd you think about it?
Well, how'd you see the fight going? Do you think Thurman won?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely thought Thurman won the fight. I mean, see, the whole thing is, Milton, Danny Garcia, he showed more respect for Keith Thurman than he ever did. And we were going to talk about this later, but since my man wanted to bring it up right now, we're going to go ahead and talk about it right now, and we could talk about it later as well.
Right.
But I was surprised how much respect Danny Garcia showed for Keith Thurman's power. And Keith Thurman did something that was really smart. He does this a lot of times. He did it in the Robert Guerrero fight as well. He came out aggressive. Soon as the first bell rang, he came out real aggressive, and I think he intimidated. I really think he intimidated Danny Garcia.
I think Danny was already a little shook going in. He didn't make eye contact during the stare down in the middle of the ring. He just looked. He looked a little bit shook going in there, like he was not focused. Like the moment was pretty big, and he just couldn't get himself. He was shook. He was shook. But you remember, Thurman came out fast against Bundu, and then he kind of fell back and they couldn't get into the groove. He dropped Bundu in the first. He
that's the thing with Thurman, and we were going to talk about this, but that's the thing with Thurman. Thurman, congratulations to him. He unified the title, and he's one of the very rare people in the history of boxing to unify a welterweight
third time
division.
In boxing history.
I mean, we had, what was it? It was a Trinidad that did it. Of course, Sugar Ray Leonard. And a couple other people did it. But those are the main people.
It was only 3 times in history that it was both undefeated.
Both undefeated.
Champions.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And Trinidad and De La Hoya was one of them as well. But yeah, man, I mean, the thing is, we talked about this a little bit before the show, Milt. Keith Thurman, he likes to take his foot off the gas. And obviously he could do that with somebody like Danny Garcia. But I think he could have got Danny out of there, man. I think, or at least knocked him down or something. But he didn't really want to take the risk. I think if Errol Spence was in there, Milt, I think Errol would have got Danny Garcia out of there. And that's no disrespect to Danny Garcia. But Danny likes to sit back and counter. You know what I mean? And I said this before the fight. You can't sit back and counter against Keith Thurman. You have to apply pressure.
You have to.
You know? And that was his downfall.
And cut the ring off.
Absolutely.
And Danny was not cutting the ring off. But caller, how did you see the fight?
I let him go.
Okay.
I let him go so we could get to another one.
Yeah.
Hey, but thanks for calling in, but I had to let him go so we could get to someone else.
Problem.
But go ahead.
But there were some people, there's a handful of people and a blind judge that watched that fight last night that thought that Danny Garcia actually won that fight.
They don't believe that, Milton.
Hey, let me tell you
They don't
something.
believe that in their heart. I don't think they believe that in their heart, man.
Let me tell you, he can't believe that. But I will tell you this, and I'm not making any accusations, but there was a lot of heavy money put on Thurman to win by unanimous decision. So if he doesn't win by unanimous decision, and it's a split decision win, there's a whole lot of money staying in the casino.
Oh yeah.
So congratulations to the casino owners. Y'all made some good cash last night.
But go ahead.
But let me tell you, if anybody is saying that they thought Danny won that fight, man, you got to be biased a little bit, because I'm here to tell you, I picked Danny. I wasn't here last week. I was out scheduling conflict, couldn't get in, and I was kind of glad I was, because I wouldn't have made a fool of myself picking Danny. But I will admit, I picked Danny to win this fight. I thought Danny, I picked against Danny against Matisse, against Khan, against Peterson. against almost everybody, man. And every time Danny finds a way to win the fight.
Yeah.
And I knew that Thurman was a better boxer, but I didn't know if he had ever faced someone that could punch and counter the way that Danny did. And I thought Danny was going to catch him, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. So hats off to Keith Thurman.
Hats off to Keith Thurman, man.
Hey.
And you guys see the highlights. We got the highlights playing right now, so you guys could check it out. I mean, yeah, man. And once again, so what do you think, before we move on, because we got to talk about a lot of other stuff too, Milton, but what do you think? And maybe it's too premature, but I still want to get your thoughts on, what do you think would have happened if Errol Spence was in there against either one of these guys?
Hey, let me tell you, Errol Spence would have at least, he would be walking out of there with both straps. He'd have him a WBC strap and a WBA strap right now.
That's what I'm thinking.
And I'm telling you, I could see him possibly stopping both of them.
I'm in agreement with you, man. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, these are, and this is no disrespect to any of these fighters. These are all great fighters. Keith Thurman is a beast, but I truly feel that Errol Spence is on a different level. But one thing I will say is I truly believe that his toughest fight, Errol Spence's toughest fight, is going to be against Kell Brook. I think Kell Brook is going to be tougher for Errol Spence than Danny Garcia, than Keith Thurman, than anyone else in the welterweight division. So he has to get past Kell Brook before he can even fight and try to unify the titles. But I believe, no doubt about it, Danny Garcia, I believe Errol Spence would have stopped Danny Garcia hands down. And that's the only thing I don't understand with Keith Thurman. I don't understand why he took his foot off the pedal. Because, now I understand kind of pulling back a little bit, because we see fighters like maybe like a Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones. We see them cruise a little bit, you know, but they're still landing a lot of punches. They're still, showing a lot of ring generalship where they're in control of the fight. But the way Keith Thurman did it in this fight, it was reminiscent of De La Hoya versus Trinidad in those last 3 rounds. It looked like he just completely said, you know what, I already won the fight. Let me just go ahead and cruise. Instead of, getting Danny Garcia's respect. And that was the only time Danny Garcia really did good in this fight, Milton, is when Keith Thurman started moving back.
Yeah.
Because when Keith Thurman was the aggressor, forward, which is the contrary, it's the opposite of how I thought the fight would play out.
Me too.
I thought Thurman originally would do better using foot movement. He actually did better coming forward.
Yes.
When he started using foot movement, that's when he was losing rounds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And Danny was gaining confidence. But anyway, Milton, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and answer another call, man, if we can. You see, it's filling up. We got a gang of people calling in. We appreciate you guys as always. I'm gonna go ahead and take another call, man. We got 951. What's going on, man? Where you calling from, and what's your name?
What's up, man?
All right.
This is Ed calling from Cali.
What it do,
okay.
Ed?
You called before, right, Ed?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to memorize, I'm starting to recognize some of y'all voice and everything, man. You was the one that was telling me, and I still ain't checked the channel out, but I need to check it out. But you was the one telling me about Lee Wiley, right?
No, not Lee Wiley.
Ooh, okay.
I thought we had that. Last time I called was Demetrius Andrade.
Okay.
That's right.
It's all good.
Okay, yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
I remember, yeah.
What's on your mind, family?
Hey man, first I want to give a shout out to PBC for killing it.
Okay.
With Showtime this year, man.
Okay.
Andre Berto versus Sean Porter is going to be electrifying.
Yep. Yeah. In the Barclays Center.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
In the Barclays Center again, they're doing huge things. But I want to talk about the little triangle we got between Danny Garcia, between Keith Thurman and Errol Spence and Kell Brook right now.
Yeah.
To me, I think the fight between Andre Berto and Sean Porter is probably going to be the next fight for Keith Thurman, because I don't think they want to put Keith Thurman in there against the winner of Errol Spence and Kell Brook yet.
Well, if you
just let him get that tune-up fight.
Hey,
I don't know.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that happening.
And you bring up a real good subject, man.
Really good point.
Because Keith Thurman himself, he's the one that keeps saying he wants to unify. So, I mean, if he really want to unify, if he really about it, he said he want to unify this year. So, I mean, because now, once again, if Errol Spence beats Kell Brook, man, there are no more excuses. The boogeyman has arrived. But you know what I mean?
I know how they do it. I know how it'll go. They're going to have some time. They're going to let that fight build up. The Errol Spence.
And that's fine. Yeah. And that's fine to let it build up.
They'll let that build up. And then, and like you said, those are two former champions who are
two current champions, right?
No, I'm talking about Berto
and Porter.
Showtime.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. Showtime, I heard an interview he did a little while back when he was talking about, at this point in his career, there are certain things that, certain fights that he should be taking. And it should be either, a past champion or a current champion that he should be fighting.
Yeah.
Right. When you get to that, when you rank number 1 through 3 in by any sanctioning body, when you rank 1 through 3, you either fighting current champion or a former champion. And I could see him, I could see that fight being set up for Thurman. He should win. He should be able to beat Porter again, and he should be able to beat Berto. Be tough fights for him, but it wouldn't be as tough as it would be for Spence.
No, of course not.
I got one more statement.
Yeah,
go ahead, man.
I got one more statement. I don't know if you guys seen he had when Keith Thurman had that press like a round table press conference. I think it was like the day before the fight, and he called Mayweather a ballerina.
See,
yeah.
See,
we were talking
you
about
on
that.
point. You on point.
We were talking about that right before. We were talking about that before the show.
Is this dude used?
We talked about that.
Mayweather blueprint to be a power puncher.
Yeah,
and this is
in my eyes. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
No,
that really looked like that was Mayweather. I mean,
that's funny.
It didn't look like Mayweather. I'm not trying to say he looked exactly like Mayweather, but it definitely looked like what Mayweather would do.
No,
but more without more finesse.
He moved more.
Punching.
He moved more than Mayweather. He moved more than Mayweather. And even though I'm showing the highlights as you talking right now, and this is obviously not the round. This is like the first round. That's not when Thurman started moving. Of course, like I said, it was later on in the fight. But see, that's why I don't like when fighters do that, because see, that's just basically talking points they get from other people and they regurgitate it. And see, you can't talk like a decaf, because a decaf, he remains anonymous, so he can say whatever he wants. You know what I mean? But
right.
but when you are a face and you're a name that people know, you got to stand by those words. And when you jump in the ring and you try to play it safe and you move around the ring, then you kind of look like a hypocrite. And that's why, like I said, I got a lot of respect for Keith Thurman, but man, let's just be real, man. Let's just give these fighters the respect that they deserve, man. I know you hear a lot of the decals on the internet and you say, well, maybe this is the right thing to do. And if everybody else is calling them a bitch and this and a runner, I guess we all supposed to do that.
Come on, man.
Keith Thurman, you better than that, man. You better than that. I mean, give this man his respect.
Thurman haven't been one time since he started fighting these elite fighters, man.
I call him sometime.
Yeah, he called him sometime.
I call him sometime. That one time it's gone.
He's been getting hit to the body and everything, and it's looking like he's still allergic to those body punches.
I mean, like I said, man, Keith Thurman, I personally have him as number 3, the best welterweight right now. And I told you, right now.
I got Kell Brook and Errol Spence.
Yeah, I got Kell Brook and Errol Spence. You can have them, 1, 2, you can switch it around. And then I got Keith Thurman as number 3. I used to have Keith Thurman as number 1 until, the emergence of Errol Spence, but I used to have him at number 2. I used to have him at number 2.
What's crazy is Manny Pacquiao and Tim Bradley, since they were top ranked, we can't even involve them in the conversation right now.
Yeah.
I'm crazy with that being if we could involve them in the conversation with these top welterweights and PBC, and then it'll be really amazing to see what they have.
Man.
Especially with the fact that they actually had Manny Pacquiao rated as number 1, the best welterweight in the world. Matter of fact, and I even asked Keith Thurman that was right before the Thurman-Porter fight. I asked Keith Thurman, what do you think about that? And he was like, that's, of course, that was ridiculous. But yeah, they had him number 1, the best welterweight in the world, but yet he wouldn't fight any of the best welterweights in the world. It didn't make any sense. And now, we know he's about to fight.
Man, he's trying to protect his fighters from, keep that house money.
Of course.
Now he needs PBC.
Of course, absolutely.
Now he needs PBC.
Now he needs PBC. And you remember, I asked him, I said, wouldn't it be more beneficial for the sport of boxing for you guys to work together? And he was like, no. And he just walked away, right? Yeah. That's what he said.
And he didn't even want to answer the question.
No, he just walked away. He said no.
It's a camera and the microphone.
Oh, there you go. Say it again. Say it again so
One
they
more
can
time,
hear.
bro.
The most dangerous thing in the world is a camera and the microphone.
Okay. Pass out the collection plate. Man, can I get a witness?
This brother dropping it today.
Hey.
He dropping knowledge today.
But see, that's what it is. You know what time it is. And 6 months later, after Bob Arum said that, I did an interview with him, and he said, it'll be great. It's great to work with Al Heyman. I think Al Heyman is doing great things for the sport of boxing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, whoa. I mean, is this Get Out? I'm thinking this is Get Out Part 2. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody done shook the tea on this man, stirred up the tea.
Now they got to spit down his shoes so they can make that money. You know what I'm saying? They got to spit down his shoes so they can make that money with him.
Absolutely. Hey, man, but anyway, man, I got to let you go, man. The phone lines are filling in, man. Let me get to someone else.
All right, man.
Thank you, brother. Good stuff, man.
Good stuff.
No problem.
All right, take care, man.
Before we move on to anybody else, man, and I know we talking about, we were trying to let this build up to, for the Thurman-Garcia.
I know
that it build up, and but since we broached it, man, let me talk about one thing. You mentioned earlier, he kind of got on the bicycle because he didn't want to take that risk. I always say, man, no risk, no reward.
Yeah,
you can't be considered one of the all-time greats, and if you ain't fighting to be one of the all-time greats or one of the best fighters that ever lived, then hey, man, I can understand that. If you just want to go out, and that's how you want to go out, then that's your thing. And, I can understand, you just want to go out. But when you're a professional prize fighter, I tell you, like I mentioned to you earlier, 15, 20 years from now, do you think they're going to talk about this Garcia-Thurman fight the same way they talk about Leonard Hearns, Hagler-Hearns? Are they going to talk about this like they, Duran Leonard? Are they talking about this like they talk about the all-time great fights?
And you make a good point, Milt. They're not. And, what's so unfortunate about this situation is the way Keith Thurman started the fight off.
Man,
and I understand. I know Keith, if he was here, he would say right now, yeah, but you can't expect the person to go, 100, every minute of the round, and that's true. But you can't go from 100 to 8. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could go from 100 and drop it to 75, maybe. You know what I mean? But it's like in those last rounds, and as the fight progressed, he started to regress in the fight.
He did.
And that was one thing.
And let the man back into the fight.
He let him back into the fight. I don't understand that. That's the only time Danny Garcia had confidence in that fight is when Keith got on his bicycle and he didn't really punch.
Right.
Like I said before, there's a lot of master boxers out there that have controlled the ring for 12 whole rounds. You know what I mean? Look at Guillermo Rigo. He hurt Nonito Donaire in the last round.
Because Rigo is a master at switching from defense to offense.
Absolutely.
Seamlessly. Yeah. And you never know when it's coming and he's going to crack you.
And he is somebody who is trying to knock you out. Even if it's, on a sniper level.
Right.
He's trying to knock you out every single round.
If you can't
with
cut
that
the ring
left
off
hand.
on him.
Yeah.
Because
he almost knocked out Donaire. But I agree with you to a certain extent, Milt. I still give Keith Thurman a lot of credit, for unifying the titles.
I hate to sound ungrateful.
The
man put his life on the line to go out there and fight.
It's real talk.
Man. So I don't mean to sound ungrateful.
No.
And I appreciate what he did, you know what I mean? But it's like, man.
Yeah, you want to be remembered. You're right about that, though.
You want in the prime of your career.
The way this fight started, you're absolutely right, Milt. The way the fight started, Thurman could have really been remembered for this performance. Now I just remember the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Because Thurman was looking great, man. he was looking like a monster, and Danny was looking like he was running from Jason Voorhees almost. You know what I mean? And not saying he was running literally because he wasn't running.
No, he wasn't.
Danny wasn't running. But what I mean is the respect, and even Jim Gray touched on this.
Yeah,
Jim Gray in the post-fight interview. Because of course Angel Garcia, which we're gonna talk about, but Angel was like, oh, he just was running and this and this and this, but Jim Gray said, but Keith Thurman landed 100, or he threw 130 more punches than your son did, or he said than Danny. He was talking to Danny. He said than you did. He was like, we never seen you so timid in a fight before, and that's exactly what I said.
There.
And that's exactly. And you know what Danny said? He said, well, that's because he was coming in with them big shots, and really what he was saying was the dude was trying to hit. He was trying to knock me out, and he looked like King Kong, and I was like, I'm not about to make no stupid mistakes, so let me just play it safe and just counter. And this is exactly why I picked Thurman to win the fight, because once again, I know that deep down, Danny Garcia, he doesn't have that extra gear that a Sean Porter has to go on inside, take that damage, and inflict his own damage. He doesn't have that gear. He's more of a counterpuncher. And
sneaky with it. And I thought he was going to catch. I thought he would catch Keith. I thought he would catch Thurman, man. I was wrong. I will admit that I was wrong. But I had just been picking against Danny so many times, man. I was like, man, I'm going to give this cat a chance. I just thought that he'd faced more fighters comparable to Keith than Keith had faced in him. A good, strong puncher who could sit down on his punches and, and one of those punches could change, the momentum of the fight. So I just thought he was going to catch him. But, hey, like I said, I'll admit when I was wrong.
Yeah, and that's exactly – I mean, like I said, it's a great fight, and this is just a great time for boxing right now. And I mean, when you just think about the fact that you have to me, it's like a welterweight tournament. You have two undefeated fighters making history, being, like you said, one of the very few welterweights to unify the titles being undefeated.
Right.
Now you have Kell Brook versus Errol Spence all in the same year, and you have both, or at least we know Errol Spence wants to do it, but you got Errol Spence who wants to unify the titles. So one more time before we take another call and go to another topic, Milt, if you had to put money on it, you think Thurman is going to fight the winner of Spence Brook, or you think he's going to go the Berto? I know you kind of alluded on that, but what do you think is going to happen if you could put money on it?
If I could put money on it, I think he'd go with Berto, or the Berto Porter winner.
Okay.
I think if I could put money on it, I just don't see him. For one, like I said, I think they want to have a little bit more build up for the fight, and then I think that they also want to give it an opportunity to marinate, but they also don't want to have him going back-to-back tough fights. You just rarely do you see that somebody just go in from one young lion to another young lion. And I don't, and his team has been handling him, so far so good along the way, and I don't see him getting back-to-back tough fights like that.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it is kind of tough, to try to see how it's going to go down. But I'm telling you, if Errol Spence goes in there and that fight looks like Terminator Part 6.
Yeah, then it would be kind of hard to hold it off. I will say that.
Well, hey, so we're going to open the phone lines back up. But before we do, let me go ahead, man, and give a shout out, man, and say rest in peace to my man Todd Harlib.
Yeah.
This guy right here, he was a big fan of my channel, and he was the cut man. He was the cut man, like the PBC cut man. He was the cut man for almost all of the PBC fighters. We used to talk. He used to always send me, messages on Facebook.
Yeah,
we would have all kind of boxing conversations. He would send me the numbers of the boxers and say, hey, man, you want to interview this guy? You want to interview this guy? And he was just a really good guy. I remember we had a debate. We had one heated debate where he was telling me that Terrence Crawford was a little overrated, and he told me a story. He told me a story about Terrence Crawford, getting into a street fight with Gary Russell, which I have the video up, by the way. But just look up Todd Harlib, and you'll see his video on my channel. But he talked about that, and he said he didn't think that Terrence Crawford's chin would ever be the same from that street fight he had with Gary Russell. And we had a long conversation, but this was a good guy, man. And it's crazy, man, because I remember sending him a text around January, and I was like, "What's up, man? Send me so and so's number. You told me you was gonna send me so and so's number, something like that, because I want to interview somebody." And he never replied back. And then I sent him a text a week later, just saying what's up, because I thought maybe he was upset about something, and I didn't even know. I hate to say it, but I didn't even know he had passed away. Yeah. And it's because he don't have this big name. But can you imagine that I'm sending somebody a text and they done passed away? So I want to say rest in peace to this man, Todd Harlib. He was a real good man. And, I know you're looking down, and that's what it is, man. So let's go ahead and take a phone call and get it in. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah, and once again, man, I want to thank everybody for staying on hold. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we got 501. What's going on, 501?
Hey, what's up, Dontae?
All right, where you calling from, man? Where you from? What's your name?
I'm calling from. My name is Kawa. I'm calling from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Little Rock, Arkansas. Jermaine Taylor's hood. Okay, that's what it is, man.
Man.
What's going on?
I'm for myself.
Huh?
Man, I just want to say, in the first round, Thurman-Garcia, I feel like Keith let him off the hook. Like, as soon as he hurt him, and Garcia was ducking down, like, in that moment, Keith hesitated, and he kind of, took his foot off the gas. I think he could have got him out of there in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he could have got him out the first. You're right. He possibly could have. But I think he could have got him out there eventually if he would have kept his foot on the gas. So I kind of agree with you to a certain extent, man.
I agree with that.
And like if you look at the replay, he had like this moment of hesitation where like he was looking at Danny and thinking about doing something, but then like he just went back into his, his safety mode.
Yeah. You know something else I noticed too since you just brought that up. Keith Thurman, he started off very accurate. But as the fight progressed, did you notice, Milt, he started to get a little bit more wild?
Yeah,
he started to telegraph his punches a little bit more. And I was looking at some of them combinations. I'm like, there's no way you're going to catch Danny Garcia with this kind of stuff.
No.
Because he was getting really wide. But when he was setting stuff up with his little touch jab, and then he would throw that sneaky right hand.
Straight down the pipe.
Yeah, when he was throwing it straight down the pipe. Although I think the one that hurt him was a little bit of a looping. Yeah, it was a looping one.
That one.
But see, and this is the different dimensions that like a Floyd Mayweather has, because Angel Garcia, credit to Angel when it comes to training though, Angel did emphasize, in the corner with his son, he said, "Hey man, whatever you do not drop your left hand."
Yeah, he said,
keep your left hand up,
and he had the left hand down,
and he had the left. But I thought Danny actually, to me, I thought Danny was more focused on not getting hit than landing something and hitting Keith Thurman himself. That's what I thought,
But I'll say this about that first round, and I saw that too. He saw the opening, but I think what he saw was Danny wasn't as hurt from that punch as he had to take a moment to see was he. I don't think he was really admiring the work more than he was respecting Danny's ability to counter if he wasn't that hurt.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to just go in there reckless, and I think he kind of backed away and said, "Hey man, I can hit him with this shot. Let me take my time, and I'm gonna walk him down." But and I don't think Danny was so hurt that he would have taken him out in that first round. Yeah. And I think he respected Danny's ability to counter.
Well, Danny was smart enough to also tie him up too. You remember Danny was tying him up the whole night.
Right.
That whole round, he was tying him up. He was really hurt.
I think I know what he's talking. It was like a split second.
Yeah, where
he probably could have followed up.
Yeah, and Danny's and Thurman kind of second guessed himself a little bit. Like even Thurman said, "Well, is he hurt enough? Well, let me not chance it. I don't want to get caught with nothing." But yeah, good point though. Anything else on your mind, man?
Also, Erickson Lubin, that knockout, he looked really good. I think, coming up, he's getting built up really good by Al Heyman. Coming up, he's going to make some noise in 154 for sure.
Hey, well, you just brought up probably our next topic. That Erickson Lubin is a monster. A lot of people don't know this, but people was expecting him. He was already expected to possibly win gold. They were looking at Erickson Lubin as like a Shakur Stevenson before he turned pro.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this, but he elected to turn pro because Mike Tyson has signed him with Iron Mike Promotions.
Yeah,
I probably, he probably thought, man, how can I turn down Mike Tyson signing me? So he decided to go pro instead of going to the Olympics. But I've been talking. Erickson Lubin, by the way, is DBN's 2015 Prospect of the Year. Yeah. So the dude is special. I've been talking a lot about this guy. I believe outside of Demetrius Andrade, already Erickson Lubin is the best junior middleweight in the world right now, man.
At 21 years
At 21.
old.
He's on
at 21.
Yeah, he's on the verge of becoming the youngest ever. I don't know if they said if it's the youngest junior. I think it's the youngest junior middleweight champion.
Youngest junior middleweight.
Because I know Rafredo Benitez, I think he was
Mike? Mike was 20?
Mike was 20.
Yeah.
Mike was 20. And even and what's his name? Fernando Vargas was really young. But they said that I think he was 22. But they said that Lubin, he could possibly be the youngest, So
right.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a beast. And he knocked out he knocked out a world-class fighter.
I know we were talking about that.
We're going to talk about that. No, but he knocked out, Jorge Cota. Jorge Cota, he wasn't a pushover. He won his last 9 fights. He only had 1 loss. He knocked off the Cuban fighter, Johnson, Udell Johnson, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knocked him off. He was durable from Mexico. He was a southpaw, and he was very unorthodox in the ring. But, man, that boy Lubin can adjust, So
the power is freakish. That was freakish. 1 punch knockout power. I mean, he caught him flush with that shot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, not only does he have the power, but how he set that up. He kind of
how he set it up.
Yeah, he dipped. He kind of led that man into a trap. Dropped his hand to have him focus on the right.
Yes.
Dropped down and then feinted and threw that looping overhand left.
And see, that's how you could tell the mark of a special fighter. You also see how he analyzed how he knocked him out. You notice that in the interview?
Yes.
Like you said,
yes.
I purposely dropped my hands, to set him up with that overhand left. I mean, when you just see the way these special fighters think, they analyze. Like usually they ask a guy, so go ahead and go over the replay how you knocked him out. Well, you seen it.
You see it right there.
The left. Oh, there it go. The left hand. See, that's what did it. He didn't do that. He broke it down and analyzed it.
Yes.
And that's what Errol Spence did. When Errol Spence knocked out Chris Algieri, he broke it down. He said, well, this is the difference from me and a Manny Pacquiao. And he broke it down how he walked him down and how he took him out instead of letting him off the gas.
Yes.
Letting him off the hook, I should say. So, hey, thank you for your call, bro. We're going to get to the next call. All right, brother? All right, take care.
Thank you, Dontae. Y'all take care.
You take care, man. Take care, man.
Peace.
So yeah, we got we got DJ Star over here. Winston, right? My man Winston? It's Winston, right?
Winston Lee.
Winston Lee. I want to give a shout out to Winston Lee because by the way, the shirts are back on sale. My man Winston Lee, he ordered some shirts and he wanted to wear them to the Thurman-Garcia fight. And we shipped him out and got him there on Friday. But I thought he was in New York. I didn't know he was.
Illinois.
Yeah, he was from Illinois. I didn't know he was flying out there. So my bad, man. I'm gonna send you out some more shirts. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to give him a shout out because I sent them shirts out. He wasn't able to wear them to the fight, so I'm gonna send him some more. Shirts. So everybody who's rocking the shirts and supporting, we really appreciate you guys over here at Dontae's Boxing Nation. And if I ever see you guys wearing a shirt at a fight live, which I have seen a couple people wearing them and I appreciate it, from this point on, you guys going to get a free shirt. All right? You're going to get an additional free shirt if I see you guys rocking the shirt.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
At one of the fights, man. So anyway, let's go ahead.
Get the limited edition.
All day, man. All day. And they're going to come in all different colors too, man. So let's go ahead and take another call. Once again, I appreciate everybody on hold right now. We got 813. What's going on, man? What it do? Where you calling from? What's your name?
What's up, man? Dave Stewart from Orlando, Florida.
All right. What's going on, Dave? What's on your mind?
Hey, what's good?
Man, just
first want to shout you guys out, man. Dontae, you're doing such a great job, bro. And as an entrepreneur, a black entrepreneur, just want to say we appreciate you, what you're doing, and giving us entertainment and knowing what you're talking about. We appreciate you.
That's what makes it worth it, what you just said, and I mean that, man. So,
yes, sir. Man. Man, so I got just a couple statements. I want to piggyback on what one person said about Keith Thurman kind of being critical, talking about how Floyd Mayweather's a ballerina, and even Danny Garcia and their team, they've talked so bad about Floyd Mayweather. And I know it's kind of, it's whatever because he's retired, but, just watching these two, I heard you say, use your eye test, and you can just see, you just miss Floyd because he's so great. And watching these two guys fight, I can just kind of imagine in my mind if they were fighting Floyd, and I just don't see him having any trouble with either one of those guys. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it. I mean, once again, anyone who telegraphs their punches, they're gonna have a major problem. They're gonna have a major problem with Floyd Mayweather. You're gonna have a tough time when you telegraph your punches. I mean, once again, if Floyd Mayweather was, in his prime and if he was young and still fighting right now, I don't see, and Keith Thurman is good, but, Floyd, we all know Floyd is just on a different level.
Man, he's a beast, man. And then even when Thurman put his foot off the gas, Floyd did something similar, but to me, Floyd was up so much on the cards that he could actually afford to do that, and people didn't give Floyd an opportunity to be aggressive. But when you did, he still did. When he fought the Canelo, when Canelo gave Floyd a chance to be the aggressor, Floyd was in there. So I don't know why people always seem like he just runs the whole time.
But Floyd, just real quick, Floyd, he still controlled Canelo the entire 12 rounds. Even when he pulled back a little bit, he was still controlling him. He was still landing all of the shots, and that was the difference, with the Thurman-Garcia. But go ahead with your next one.
Mm-hmm. Last thing, man, I just want to get some more love for Lara. I'm so tired of people walking and talking over it. And my nationality is Cuban and Jamaican, and this guy is really good, and I feel like he's underrated. And I just want you to continue. You do a good job. You give him love, but I feel like there's so many great fighters that he gets lost in the shuffle. But this guy is a beast. This guy beat Canelo, and I'm just like, I kind of, as a boxing fan, as a true boxing fan, this is another technician that we're not appreciating how good he is. And I just want you to just keep pushing that. If you can talk about, where do you rank Lara? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what, man, you're absolutely right. And guys, I'm gonna tie this all in. But if you guys haven't watched the movie Get Out, because just talking about the Lara situation is making me think about Get Out, because I'm thinking of hypnosis, I'm thinking of indoctrination, and that's the reason why Edeslani Lara, he has such, a bad name when people bring him up. Because when you hear stuff, regurgitate stuff over and over and over again, eventually, even people who know how good he is, they almost make you feel guilty for even giving the man credit. And that's what hypnosis is all about. You hear it enough, eventually you'll start saying, oh man, I know he's good, but man, is it okay for me to say that this guy is probably better than people are giving him credit for? So I give you credit for even bringing it up yourself, bro. Because man.
Bro, and I just want to throw this in there. I know you got a lot of calls. I want everyone to get a chance to talk. But he is one of the only people that I'm like, man, if he fought Floyd at his prime, that would be a good fight. You see what I'm saying? Because, dog, this dude got serious skills. And please, don't let people get brainwashed, man. This guy's a beast, man. He needs the love, man. He needs you to talk about him. We need to reverse that hypnosis.
Yeah.
Get this guy back in there, man. I love watching him fight.
Absolutely. And see, I'd rather watch. And see, but see, this is the thing. People say these things, but they don't really believe it. They just say it because it's therapeutic for them. It makes them feel better. Because if you look at, for example, they do the same thing with Andre Ward. Oh, Andre Ward is so boring. He's horrible. He's this and he's that. But then Andre Ward, 1 million people tune in to watch Andre Ward against Sullivan Barrera. You know how many people tuned in to watch Orlando Salido versus Francisco Vargas? 500,000 people tuned in. Half the amount of people tuned in to watch that fight. Because at the end of the day, deep down, they know that this is what they want to watch. I mean, you know, I always use this analogy, you know, when it comes to rapping and stuff like this, you know, stuff like that. You know, if you listen to a rapper and he got these little typical elementary, you know, verses that, you know, me and you could come up with,
right,
then you saying that's ain't nothing special about that. Right. But when you listen to an Eminem, you listen to a Ghostface, you listen to Kendrick Lamar, someone like that, you know you can't come up with that. You like, wow, that's impressive. And it's the same thing with boxing. It's the exact same thing. If you can do something that I can do, we can all get punched in the face.
Right.
Who can't get punched in the face? A baby could get punched in the face, you know what I'm saying? But can you stand in front of somebody like one of them old Kung Fu masters with the long gray beard with a cup of tea in his hand and never get touched while somebody trying to knock the shit out of him?
Can't touch you.
Exactly.
That's the
so
thing.
Where do y'all have Laura ranked then?
I have Laura ranked right now number 2. I think it's Andrade, and then I think it's Laura. That's where I have them. I have them. Yeah. I have them below. And I have them below Andrade. I can't see nobody over Andrade right now. Even though Laura got a win over Andrade, but that was when Andrade was 15 years old.
And as impressive as Jarrett Hurd looked last week, and Lubin looked last night, they're not kind of ready for those advanced fighters like Laura. I mean, Laura.
Lubin, I don't know. I don't know about Lubin, man.
That footwork is just his footwork.
Lubin might be ready for all of them, but I still have Andrade.
I think he may be 2 or 3 fights away from that.
Yeah.
I think he may need 1 or 2 other fights.
So now we're going to have to talk about what you think, because you know he's fighting the winner of Hatley, Charlo, right?
Yeah,
he's fighting the winner.
So he may be ready for them because they're young fighters.
Yeah,
they're young fighters, but you got a veteran fighter like Lara who has tremendous footwork. I don't know if he can walk him down.
Yeah,
and I wanted to say, you know, remember before the show we were discussing, you know, I want to be.
I'm gonna let you go, by the way, bro. I'm gonna get to another call.
Right,
hey, thank you, man.
Shout out to Rio Drums too, man. All right, y'all.
Oh, Rio Drums, you know what's up?
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to my man Rio Drums. He the one to be giving me the dope beats. Shout out to my man Corey as well, man. He be dropping the beats. And the DBN soundtrack is coming out. My man Rio Drums and my man Corey, they putting together a DBN soundtrack. So for all you guys that's been asking about those beats, we're gonna have a soundtrack all out for you guys. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, and it's not like, you know, I wanted to be kind of cautious when I was talking about Thurman and, you know, how he got on the bicycle. I don't call it running. I say that he was using his footwork a lot more and backing out. I want to be cautious because I don't want people to think I'm one of these assholes that like to see 2 people in there just beating the hell out of each other. I love superior footwork. But though, hey, if 2 cats want to sit and slug it out, I'll sit and watch that too.
We'll watch it all.
We'll watch it all. I watch it all. But the thing is, I love to see someone that uses superior footwork and they can switch from offense to defense and defense back to offense, and they can know how to move laterally, and they know how to not get hit but hit you at the exact, you know, at the same time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give people the impression with Thurman that I would, you know, that's not something that I can appreciate is superior footwork.
Yeah.
But what that was not that.
And not only that, but he contradicted himself by once again, like my man said, calling Floyd Mayweather a ballerina. And quite frankly, you know, if you look at the dichotomy, Floyd Mayweather is actually more aggressive even when he takes his foot off the gas.
Yes.
Floyd don't use foot movement that often. Floyd is usually, even when Floyd takes his foot off the gas, he makes little subtle movements. He may pivot to the right, pivot to the right, pivot to the left, but his subtle movements, and then he's still popping you. He is still controlling you and controlling the ring. Yeah, and every sport we watch, that's why we enjoy boxing, we enjoy football, we enjoy the defense and the offense.
Right.
In any sport, right? So, but once again, like I said, Milt, that's just a cover-up because when, like I said before, when Golovkin was fighting like Floyd Mayweather, just jabbing and all that, like they say,
breaking him down.
That's all Floyd does is throw jabs. When Golovkin threw nothing but jabs, then all of a sudden it was like, well, that's what you're supposed to do when you're in there with a strong puncher. Well, duh. What you think Floyd gonna do when he move up 5 weight classes and he fighting against guys 20 pounds bigger than him? Come on, don't play with me, man. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's try to fit all this stuff in, Milt. Hey guys, we're gonna take another call in a minute, so just be patient if you guys can. Milton, let's also touch on these numbers, man. I want to go ahead and say congratulations to Keith Thurman, Al Heyman, and the PBC series, man. what they are doing for boxing is unbelievable. I mean, what was that feeling, Milt, this weekend, sitting at home watching a fight on free TV and one of the most significant fights of the year, Milt?
Hey, it was tremendous. I'm not scrambling around trying to find a stream.
Yeah.
You know, or either there are times, you know, I'll have come out of pocket, and I may come out of pocket next weekend. You know, when they put on a special fight, you know, when Triple G and Jacobs are gonna get together, I may go in the pocket, man, and have a fight party at the crib. You know, so and show my appreciation. But
we have no choice sometimes.
You got no choice sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say, hey, man, I appreciate it. PBC, Al Heyman, Mayweather Promotions. I mean, hey, I really appreciate you all trying to do your part in bringing boxing back to the mainstream.
Absolutely, man.
And back to the masses, because, you know, the sport, and I know I'm biased because it's my favorite sport, but, you know, I think that it could be other people's favorite sport too if we keep putting the shows together like this.
Absolutely.
And last week, you know, on Fox, free TV. You got Deontay Wilder. You got heavyweight champion of the world.
That was the most watched before this fight. That was the most watched fight of the year,
right,
on free TV.
Right.
And it wasn't even. It was just the A side.
Yeah,
we didn't have an A side and an A side. You know, we had an A side and a D side. You know, well, no, I won't say that. We had an A side and a C side. Washington, he looked very good in that fight. I was thinking of Wild Rezik when I said the D side.
I got you.
But the reason why I even brought this up real quick before we take another call is once again, like I said, I wanted to go ahead and report the numbers. Now, I don't know if these are the peak numbers. FightNews.com, they reported the numbers, and I think these are just, I don't know if these are, you know, what it average or the peak numbers, but they are reporting 2.2 million views. But the best thing about these numbers is CBS was the #1 network in prime time on Saturday night, according to the Nielsen ratings. Okay, so that is big. That right there alone is big, because not only were they competing against other previous boxing cards, but they were competing against other genres. They were competing against other TV shows that had nothing to do with boxing, and they finished in first place. So that's big. I mean, of course, you know, I would love to see 10 million views and all that kind of stuff, but the fact that they finished #1 on that slot on Saturday, that was big, man. That was really big.
That was huge.
So, yeah, man. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take another call. We talked about David Haye, right, Milt?
Yeah, we touched on it.
Yeah, we touched on it. And we're going to talk, we touched a little bit on Paulie Malignaggi.
We were going into Paulie, and I was talking about how, you know, he got dropped in the 8th with the body shot. Paulie, he did mention that it was time to go. And I was thinking about, hey, man, Paulie's giving us some good fights, and it really is time for Paulie.
Yeah, he finally said he's thinking about retiring, and I think that's the first time he actually said that.
Yeah.
And for him to get caught with a body shot, that's a different kind of knockout, man.
Yeah.
Because that's like, you know, you have so much pride in the sport of boxing, and you know Paulie has a lot of pride.
Oh, yeah.
When you have to take a knee from a body shot, man, I mean, I know that just really, really...
It was flush, too.
Yeah, and I didn't even see the fight. My man Milton seen it. I didn't even catch the fight because it was, you know, wasn't around. But anyway, let's go and take another call. We got 347. What's going on, man? Where you calling from? What's your name, man?
What's good? This is Mac from Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn in the house. What up, Matt?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
I would like to start off with just saying David Haye lost the mental game with Tony Bellew before the fight before the bell even rang, because Bellew was calling him out about the pinky toe. He was calling him out about, you know, always pulling out in fights and getting injured. And there was the news going around before the fight began that David Haye was going to Germany and he was getting specialists to look at the Achilles and his leg. So there was already issues with that. And if you notice in the first round, his stance was just crazy.
It was.
You could tell he probably wasn't sparring because he was trying to probably heal the leg. And the mental game with Bellew already called him out, so he couldn't even pull out the fight, because Bellew already pulled his card and said, I don't want to hear no excuses during the press conference, no injuries. That's why after the fight happened, he didn't even, talk about his leg, because Bellew called him out already. He already pulled that card.
On excuses, yeah.
His leg was messed up.
That's what happened to Roy.
But I'll ask you. But do you think his leg was injured, or you think it was just you think it was?
Do you think that had something to do with the loss? Do you think the Achilles tendon?
Definitely, because he couldn't hit him with the real force he's used to because he couldn't plant the leg.
I was thinking the same thing too.
And brother, I noticed when you just talk right now and it got a little louder. So if you can try to talk a little louder so we can hear you a little bit better. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, he couldn't plant his leg fully and hit him with the full power because of the injury.
Yeah,
you know, and he was just wobbling and looking like he got hit. He got the drunk punch. But it was the leg that was killing him, and it was obvious, and he didn't even, talk about it because Bellew mentally already defeated him and called all that out and said, I want to hear no excuses.
Yeah, that would have looked bad if he had pulled out that fight at the last minute on the injury.
Exactly.
And we know he already has a reputation. He has a history of pulling out of fights back to back, like what he did with Tyson Fury, pulling out twice. Which was a real bad look. Yeah. It's reminiscent of Roy Jones versus Tarver. Tarver, what did he say before the fight? What did he say before the fight?
Got any excuses tonight, Roy?
And you can't. How you gonna make excuses after that? You can't. And to this day, Roy ain't never made one excuse about that fight.
No,
you know what I mean? You can't after somebody say that.
Yeah.
David was extra with the, oh my gosh, I've never been in a fight like this. This was like it was from a Rocky movie.
yeah. I meant to.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was the best fighter. It was all bullshit. Mentally, he got beat, so he couldn't really say what he wanted to say. He wanted to pull his shoe off and be like, "Look how swollen my ankle."
He wanted to do that.
The crowd was just start blowing and throwing stuff on the ring.
They even tried to tape his ankle. They tried to tape the ankle and around the.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the 10th, 9th.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They put tape and the ref had to step in because the tape was kind of loose and had to take part of it off and threw it out of the ring. Yeah, they tried to tape his ankle during the.
See, I didn't catch that.
The reason why he got knocked out the ring is because he was on one leg.
Yeah, because he was on one leg. Yeah, he had no balance.
No balance.
Yeah.
It was he still got up. It wasn't like a Bernard Hopkins situation.
No, he was trying to climb back in the corner through the towel.
You definitely have to give him credit for that. Yeah.
And the crazy part is that people hate him so badly because even though he showed so much heart, the crowd was still booing.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that.
I didn't understand that. I mean, if they knew he was injured on top of all of that, and not only that, but the classy way he gave Tony all the credit, he didn't even use the excuse of the injury, and they still booed him. I didn't understand.
They was still booing him.
I didn't understand that at all.
He did that to himself because of the whole he's gonna put Matchroom out of business. He looked like he's kind of jealous of Anthony Joshua. He's coming back and he's trying to like take shots and he wants to beat Joshua because I guess.
Well, that was funny. That was funny seeing Anthony Joshua's reaction. That was pretty funny. You know, he was in the crowd busting up.
Stop smiling. The promoter was the happiest man in the ring.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you know how big. I mean, because realistically, this fight went from being a fight that no one really cared about because everyone, automatically expected David Haye to murder Tony Bellew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody I wasn't looking at this as a serious fight, but it's funny how all of a sudden, the fight gets upgraded in a certain sense because it goes from a fight no one cared about to like a Cinderella Rocky Balboa type story where the underdog actually surprises everyone and pulls off a massive upset regardless, of David Haye's injury. So
and Bellew shouldn't be happy about that win because it reminded me of when Sergio Martinez fought Cotto and Martinez's leg was just done.
Yeah.
But at least Cotto was really hurting him and dropping him.
Right.
Bellew wasn't doing that.
Nope.
I don't know about that one. I'm in the minority on that one.
I believe that, bro.
I'm in the minority on that one, though. I'm in the minority because I don't think that Sergio was as injured. I don't think he was anywhere near as injured as David Haye was. You know, I don't think so.
Oh, you think he was an injury? I thought you were saying he wasn't hit with shots.
No, I don't think his leg injury was anywhere near as bad as David Hayes. I don't think Sergio Martinez's was.
But he wasn't as mobile as we're used to seeing Sergio before the fight with Cotto.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That is true.
You know, he was a former cyclist, so you know he was always on his back foot. He wasn't like that at all when he fought Cotto.
Yeah.
But at least Cotto was taking advantage of the injury and dropping him and hurting him. Bellew wasn't doing that.
Me personally, I'm just saying, if there was a rematch, Hay versus Bellew, I'm picking Hay like I think the majority of us will be. You know,
exactly.
But in hindsight, in retrospect,
but he's just injury prone.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, by way of contrast, if there was a rematch of Sergio Martinez versus Cotto and there was no leg injury, I would still actually pick Cotto myself. I just think Cotto, you know, he had a different type of style that Sergio Martinez was used to. And, you know, and usually other boxers have problems with other boxers, you know, and me personally, and I'm in the minority, so everyone.
I'll say this: it may be the same winner, but the fight may be different. It could be a much more competitive fight. Is what I'll say.
Exactly.
It could be.
Right.
Hey man, but
David,
go ahead.
David Hay might have the ability to hit him with harder punches because he'll have his legs. You
yeah.
But before I leave, I just have one more thing to say. I love Errol Spence, but I don't want to give him all the credit in the world yet until I see him, how he reacts to taking a hard punch. You understand it? I think Errol
and you know what? That's
Spence
fair. That's fair.
And I think Errol Spence and the dude he's fighting right now, I can't remember his name.
Kell Brook.
The
dude he's about to fight in May.
Kell Brook.
I think those two guys could beat Keith Thurman.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. I mean, you know, one thing, Errol Spence did get caught with some real good uppercuts. And I don't know if it wasn't his last fight. It was before he fought against Algieri.
Yeah.
He fought some guy and dude was catching Errol Spence with a lot of uppercuts. Actually, I think the first 2 rounds. God. But credit to Errol Spence, he adjusted. He nullified the uppercut and he took it away from the guy. I
want to see how he adjusts to power from like the Kell Brooks of the world, the Keith Thurmans of the world, the Danny Garcias of the world.
But see, this is
if he's gonna like step up to the occasion like Mayweather did when he fought Mosley.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
How is he gonna deal with adversity? No, I totally I hear where you're coming from, and I thank you for your call, man. But we gonna go to the next.
One last question, Dontae.
All right, go ahead, man.
Just like out of bounds, but who do you think has the best defense between Purnell and Floyd, and why?
Ooh, man, why you gotta do that one? Mayweather versus Floyd. Damn, dog. I mean, that's
not even who will win in the fight.
Just who got the better, and that is a better question. Who has the better defense, bro? That's extremely. You know what? I might have to slightly lean towards Pernell Whitaker on that one.
I'm going with Sweet Pea
I
too.
mean
I'm going Sweet Pea.
The 20 punch, but we're not putting them against each other. We ain't putting them against each other. You know what I mean?
I know, but I'm just saying Pernell got dropped so many times. Like I'm just saying, I'm hearing Floyd never even got dropped in sparring.
Yeah, Floyd never got dropped. I guess
Pernell got dropped by Roger.
But that's a good point. That's a good point, man. You bring a good point. I mean, and that's why you put me on the spot with a question like that, because that's something where I gotta go on YouTube and do some homework on that one. But let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this though. The first.
He could do the peekaboo. He could duck and dive. He's mobile. He could do the shell, the peekaboo.
Yeah.
Now he was really more of like a dipping low, and he had the back foot.
I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Mac, I'm going to tell you this. The first thing I thought about when you asked me that question was that 20-punch combination that Pernell Whitaker dodged from Oscar De La Hoya. And at the end of that first round, you remember that, Milt?
Yeah, I remember that.
And he did that little dance.
I I remember Mayweather doing something similar to that with Oscar De La Hoya on the ropes. Everybody thought.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Where he was doing the shoulder roll, sliding back and forth. He was just sliding back and forth. I remember that too. I feel we on the same page. But like I said, that's a close one. But you know what? You brought up a good point. Floyd never been knocked down before. I mean, you could say
officially,
you could say technically, you could say, oh, okay, his glove touch, but I'm talking about knocked on your ass, like not where it was like, oh, well, technically you could say, his hand touched the glove. I mean, a real knockdown. And you right, Pernell Whitaker, he's been knocked down flat on his ass, by Roger Mayweather. So yeah, hey man, you bring up
Kirk and so on and so on.
You bring up very good points, bro. You bring up very good points, man. But they both on the level, man.
Brooklyn, we love you out here in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, that's what's up.
I waited for 40 minutes to speak to you guys. It definitely was worth it. And and I would love to, even though it might be a dream, I would love to hear you and Boxing Ego do like a collaboration because you guys are the best on YouTube, hands down.
For sure, man. For sure. Hey, man, you already know we did a whole bunch of shows together, so we probably will be doing some more in the future, man. So, hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you. Call in anytime. Take care, all right, man?
All right, boss. Take it easy.
All right, man. Yeah. All right, man.
Peace.
So that's what that was, man. And once again, man, if we can't get to you guys, we apologize. There's a lot of people on hold right now.
Yeah.
Before we take another call, you want to throw something else in there real quick, Milt?
Yeah, just another honorable mention for a fight that happened this past weekend was Fanfara and Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson was ahead in the fight going into the later rounds. I know he won.
And that's another fight I missed, and that's why my man Milt, he on top of it, man.
Yeah, Fanfara was, he was Chad was out boxing him.
Oh, he was out boxing him.
Yeah, he was out boxing him. He was slicking him. I mean, and he got caught in the ninth, at the end of the ninth round. He took a knockdown, and I will say this. I know we've been sitting here talking about Keith Thurman and kind of dogging him a little bit for running late in the fight.
We ain't dogging him.
No, man, but hey, Chad Dawson probably should have got on the bike in the 10th round instead of.
Yeah, some people need to use it.
Yeah, some people need to use it. Mm-hmm. He had the fight won, and Fanfara caught him with a straight right along the ropes, man, and wobbled him, and he fell into the corner. And Fanfara jumped him, swarmed him, and ref stepped in. I think he was catching most of the punches on the hand, on the gloves and on the forearms.
Yeah.
But the ref, he kind of pulled the trigger a little quick. I think it was because of that knockdown at the end of the ninth. He'd taken that in toll with with him getting rocked in the 10th and final round. So that's it's halfway through the round.
And man,
I hated to see it end like that, but it was what it was, But I think it's time for Chad to let it go also.
Yeah, and it's really sad, man, because Chad was one of them special talents. But I think it was after the Adamek fight. I don't know why, but after the Adamek fight, that was the first time Chad had got knocked down.
Yeah, he
had never been the same after he got knocked down by Adamek, and so I think that might have had something to do with it happened to Hector Camacho. Hector Camacho Sr.
Yeah.
He was a beast. Hector Camacho was better than a lot of people thought. They probably caught the end of his career where he just moved and moved. But they say that that didn't start, or I should say it didn't start until he actually got knocked down by a previous opponent. I forget the opponent. But it happened to him. That basically altered his whole style. And it was more, it's like that stuck in his head.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of happened with Chad Dawson, man.
I'd say this too, and I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. But let me tell you, when you keep taking those repeated shots to the head, it affects people differently for one thing. And then you have that thin membrane along between the skull and the brain, keeping it attached to the skull. The more you take shots, man, the more it wears that out.
Yeah.
And then some people, it heals. They'll take time off, allow it to heal, come back and be fine. But some people, theirs never heal, and the brain is just sitting in your head, just sliding back and forth. So you take just the slightest shot just right, hey, you going night-night.
Yeah, you seen that movie Concussion, huh?
Yeah, man.
That was a scary breakdown on the brain,
it's an
man.
eye-opener.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I never will refer to any fighter that to get in the ring, risk his life out there and call him a bum. Yeah. I'm not gonna call these people bums, man. These people risk too much. Another thing.
Well, if they're not that good, man, we gotta call them something.
I'll call them something. I'll call them not that good, but I'm not gonna call them a bum. Hey. I won't call them a bum, man.
You can call somebody a tomato can and still give them credit for getting in the ring, man.
No,
I mean, crazy, but let's go ahead and take another call, man, because these guys been waiting on hold for a minute, man.
For sure. But had to get Chad Dawson in there.
Oh yeah, of course, and we're gonna get the rest because we also got to talk about the fights that's coming up this weekend, which we're gonna talk about that. Let's go ahead and take another call. I appreciate you guys waiting on hold. We got 973. What's going on? Where you calling from, and what's your name, man?
Hey, what's good, man? I'm calling from New Jersey. This is Patrick.
All right. What's going on, Pat? Patrick? What's good with you?
Just chilling over here. Been waiting for a while, but
I know, man. We appreciate it.
Got the chance.
I appreciate it, man. What's on your mind, man?
Man, that fight, I was watching with my girl, and, I'm not disappointed, but, I was expecting more fireworks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
go ahead.
The thing is, I know that both fighters, they got power. So they were both trying to stay on their A game and, making sure
they didn't get caught. They didn't slip up.
One of them didn't get caught because, Danny and Keith both got power.
Right.
But they also both got chins,
Right.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah. And I agree with you once again. I mean, this is what we touched on once again. I mean, you do agree that it started off with fireworks though, right?
Yeah, the first 3 rounds at least, definitely, yeah.
And then
I know Keith was,
pushing
just trying to move around because, after those last body shots from Luis Collazo and Sean Porter, Team Garcia, they obviously knew that was probably the weak spot. And, I know he was trying to, just move around, box a little bit smarter, and get in and get out, not staying there. But there was times towards the end of the rounds where I did see the exchange a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, I knew, they were throwing bombs, but most of them didn't land. Like clean, on the chin.
I mean,
Keith, that is.
Once again, man, me personally, I don't understand because to me, it was Keith Thurman. Since he was the one that was, dictating the pace and everything, he was controlling the ring and everything. I felt it was Keith Thurman that took his foot off the gas once again. And you know what? You brought up body punches. I don't know because we were trying to figure that out too, Milt, right? What was it? Did he get caught with something? Because I remember in the second round, I think it was the second or the third round, Keith Thurman was looking great. He was coming forward. He was intimidating Danny, I believe, a little bit. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he started bouncing around. And then Danny Garcia won that portion of the round when he did that.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if he got caught with a body shot, if he got caught with something, or he just said, you know what, this dude is too sneaky with these counter punches. And I
was thinking the exact same thing. And I will say, I was scoring the fight as it was going along. I shout out to IOTBA and the brothers over there. We were scoring it round by round. A lot of people looked at me crazy, but I gave Danny that round. The
Showtime judges gave it to him too.
Farhood gave it to him too.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, man, it was just something about it. I saw him catch him with that, but I didn't know if it had that much of an effect on him, and it may have. And I know he was probably looking, like you said, both of them have power, and neither one of them wanted to make a mistake and get taken out on the stretcher. So, they were really, I know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the fight.
Made him a little bit more cautious. I did too.
It was a boxing show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Keith, he put that work in. Obviously, when you're in with somebody like Danny Garcia, you always got to be on your A game, and this shows that Keith Thurman's an A plus fighter.
No doubt about it.
No doubt it.
And you know what? Also, you have to give Sean Porter more credit when you watch that fight.
I thought about that too.
I kept thinking about Sean Porter when I was watching that fight because I'm like, man, Sean Porter was willing to put his head in a meat grinder, and just go, head first. You know what I'm saying?
Headlong, man.
And he inflicted damage. He took damage, and he walked through Keith Thurman's hardest shots and never discouraged or deterred him. So yeah, man. I mean, matter of fact, I'm thinking I would actually pick Porter over Danny Garcia now too.
I would,
you
might be right.
Because counterpuncher versus dude that's on you like a cheap ass suit.
But
the whole night.
That'd be a good fight to put together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be a great fight. And speaking of that, you heard what you think about Angel Garcia saying he wanted his son to retire, man?
Oh man,
I thought that was that was just like some BS. Cause
yeah, that's
I just
BS,
felt like he finally, you know what I'm saying? Like he lost. He knew he lost, but he got to say something. He just didn't want to give in. But Danny's not going to retire. He's probably done.
No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He's on the top of his game right now. I think his dad is just emotional. His dad has this attachment to his son that obviously a lot of parents have, towards their kids. And I think he's so emotional. I think deep down, he's afraid of seeing his son get hurt real bad. My son boxes, nobody, I used to box. It's harder to watch your loved ones box than you've been in there yourself.
I was talking with Hassim Rahman, man, really good friend of mine, man. And I'm talking to him about his son, and when they're in the ring fighting, he's talking about, man, he had no issue going in there himself, but when he watching his sons fight, it's like, man, he can't stop. His leg is shaking constantly. He's like, man, it's a whole nother level. It's completely different when your son is in there in the ring.
I know Angel. A lot of people, it's been controversial, these past months and all that, with the whole N-word and all this. But Angel, I don't think he's racist at all. He's just a real dude, from the hood and all that. And I like Danny. Angel, he just clowns around a lot. But Danny, he's still a top guy. He's got like Sean Porter, Andrade-Caucay. He's still got a lot of guys in the division, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and what?
Fights are coming up, definitely, so he's still up there. He just lost, but, he lost to a champion.
Yeah. He just lost to a champion. And once again, but how many times have we seen fighters, not just their trainers, but how many times have we seen fighters after they get their first loss or maybe the second loss, the first thing they say, I'm going to retire. I'm thinking about retiring. And then 3 weeks later, we hear, they got a fight scheduled and everything is normal again. It's because, once again, emotions are running, and you can't believe you lost. And I'm sure when Danny Garcia got to the locker room, I'm sure some tears came out, maybe in front of some people, maybe, by himself. But I'm sure, it really hit him hard, man, because when the cameras are not around, them emotions, you got nothing but your emotions left, so you got no more people patting you on your back, trying to say, oh, it's okay, champ, or whatever. Because who was that told me, Manny Pacquiao, someone said, I was talking to somebody recently, and they said that someone in Manny Pacquiao's camp said that Manny Pacquiao actually cried, after the Mayweather loss. They was actually there and witnessed it, so yeah, man. I mean, these losses, and there was a lot of pressure on Manny Pacquiao too,
I have seen fighters shed tears.
Oh yeah,
after a win, also.
Oh yeah,
because it's a lot of
blood,
emotion.
Sweat, and tears, man.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, man. Running, 8-9 miles, in the freezing cold.
Mm-hmm.
Missed birthday parties with your kid, for your kids.
Dedication,
it's a whole nother level of dedication, man. You put, a good, 8 weeks into a solid weeks into a training camp, and you're missing out on a lot of stuff. And you're doing this 2 or 3 times a year. I'm here to tell you, man. It's a lot that goes into that, and so. When these people, whether win or lose, man, it's a lot of emotion.
Thanks for your call, though, bro. I'm going to let you go, bro.
Appreciate it.
Take care, all right,
man? Thank you for letting me speak, all right?
No problem, man.
YouTube a lot. Thanks, man.
All right, take care, brother. Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. Let's go ahead. Man, we still got a whole lot of people on hold, man.
Yeah, I know, man.
Let's go ahead and man,
I'm going to do a quick show today.
Yeah, we was going to do a quick show because we was doing it on Sunday.
Yeah.
But we wanted to go ahead and do a special show since we had this great weekend of boxing. We figured, it'd probably be good to do it while everyone is hanging out at home, today on the weekend and all. So
fight still fresh in your mind.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and try to answer as many calls as we can before we close out. Let's take one more and then we'll talk about Milton's
what's coming up.
Is going to bring up what we got this week. So 407. What's going on, 407? What's going on, man? You there? No, see, he done He done fell asleep because we got these cats on hold for so long. Let's go ahead and take another call. He's sitting over there. I think I heard him snoring on the phone. Okay. We got 303. What's going on, 303?
What's going on, Dontae? How y'all doing? This is Smitty from Denver.
All right.
Hey,
well, you said Smitty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good,
all right. What's good, man? What's on your mind?
What's going on? I wanted to touch on a few things. First, I wanted to, I got to give Keith Thurman a little bit of love. I thought he looked good early, but I think he ran out of gas. He came out so aggressive, and he might have got caught with a body shot like Earl Spence said, but in the later round, his shots didn't have the same steam that they had on early. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why he started moving a lot, because his effectiveness with his shots, Danny was taking him better in the second half of the fight.
He was. I will say that.
Well, I mean, like I said before, and once again, we can attribute it to many different things. Like you said, we're not really sure what happened, but there's no doubt about it for whatever reason. But I think this is just what Keith does. His punches were far more wider later on as the fight progressed. Once again, he was telegraphing. He was leaping in with shots that you could see coming a mile away. And I didn't understand why he started doing that. I don't know if, he just really got into it, and that's just what he does once he starts, getting into the fight or whatever. But I think that's the reason why he didn't get the knockout. I don't know if he gassed out though, Milt. I don't think it was a matter of because it was such a chess match. And if he did gas out, it was from psychological fatigue, if anything. It wasn't because he wasn't throwing that many punches. It was a chess match. So I think
I don't know, Smitty. Both of them look to be in tremendous shape. I know it did look like he may have. I think at one point he may have gotten clipped. And he's saying, hey, man, I don't need to sit around and get countered when I can get on, use footwork and lateral movement and box around this guy. I don't know if I won't necessarily – because, he was moving too well in order to be fatigued.
Yeah, he never looked tired to me. Yeah, he never –
and his corner also did – sorry to interrupt you, fellas, but they did say, they wanted him to stick to moving later in the fight and just box smart.
Right.
Which I felt like you guys were saying, my prediction, I thought he could have stopped Danny Garcia.
I think he could have.
If he could have stayed more aggressive.
I really think he could have, because all Danny was trying to do the whole night is just try to counter. He did not show that extra gear.
Nope.
He didn't show that he never tried to fight on his front foot at all. Only time he was aggressive is when Thurman allowed him to be aggressive, and that's when Thurman just moved around the ring. But when Thurman was standing right in front of Danny never led. He never led the entire night. All he threw a good jab, which was a nice jab, but that's all he was throwing. So once again, Keith Thurman coming out in that opening round and just jumping all over Danny, that was the best thing I thought Keith could have did. But he didn't finish the job. He didn't finish the job, and Errol Spence would have finished the job. I'm just telling you, man. I even think Porter could have probably, Porter, I ain't going to say he would have knocked him out, but Porter, I think he would have probably even inflicted more damage on Danny Garcia, knowing that Danny is trying to do nothing but counter, so that's what it is, man. But thanks for your call, man. Anything else?
Second, I got a few more points.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Most importantly was this issue with Angel Garcia. I think he's a real black eye on boxing. So I don't know if it's possible to maybe ban him from the pre-fight and post-fight press conferences, because when he's telling folks, casual fans, that his son got robbed, it's just not good to hear. And I know the dude before me was saying that Angel Garcia being real and this and that. I don't think it's a matter of being real or fake. It's unprofessional.
And you know what?
Calling people N-words at a professional setting. You know what I'm saying?
I read an article written by Mauricio Suleiman last week, and they were making a determination on whether or not they were going to allow Angel to be in his corner. And one of the things that they wanted to do was in the WBC, and I don't know if it's going to be boxing wide, but they were going to establish an ethics committee. And what they were going to start doing was holding people to task, fighters to task for what they do outside the ring. Not only fighters, but everyone involved with boxing. And they would, I think they're going to start imposing fines and suspensions for these things that are happening outside of the ring. and he was, and I know Mauricio Suleiman is like a pioneer on a lot of things, man. Even from drug testing to
he's a good guy. Mauricio, really good. Shout out to Mauricio Suleiman. He's a great guy. The president of the WBC.
And he is really considering, coming down really hard on fighters that are, making them, putting a black eye on boxing, like you said, outside of the ring with, all of the crazy antics and stuff like that, man. And the language, man, that's not something. And if boxing does want to grow and be a mainstream sport, you can't have stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
You are absolutely correct on that.
Yep. Anything else on your mind, man?
Dontae, I want to ask you, what do we got to do to watch this Caucay Andrade fight this Saturday? I mean, I know it's not televised.
Milton, do you know that is an excellent question, brother. That is an excellent question.
Man, I don't
because
know.
I'm gonna try to find it on my Fire Stick, man. I mean,
I gotta try to find it myself too.
I don't know where that fight has been advertised. It's out there in Germany. Nobody has reported on it basically being telecast. So I'm not even sure, bro. And that sucks, man, because it's the long-awaited return of the best junior middleweight in the world, and we can't even watch it out here.
It's
and
ridiculous.
that's the type of coincidental list love he getting right now, because that should have been on HBO. You know what I mean? That should have been on HBO. They let them fighters on the Hope list fight on HBO against complete nobodies. You know what I mean? But Andre got to fly all the way overseas to Germany.
That's ridiculous.
So it sucks, because once again, this is one of the best fighters in the world. But they treating him like that. So I don't know,
and
man.
One more thing before I get out of here, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think? I don't know what the rumblings are. I was hoping it would be Felix Diaz. But what do you think if Crawford does end up fighting Granado? I didn't get to see your topic on this on your page yet, so I thought I'd ask from both y'all.
Good,
I don't know about this one.
No,
be honest.
you know what, bro? And I did a video talking about it. This is the thing. First of all, we need to make it clear and let everybody know that Crawford's original pick was Felix Diaz. Now, I don't know if this is official. This was just the talks that they offered Felix Diaz $300,000. And Felix Diaz, he turned it down. That's just the talks. I don't know how official that is. But see, my whole thing is, if they don't get Felix Diaz, me personally, I feel, as a second choice, Granados, the fact that some people, even though I don't feel he beat Broner, but some people saying
I don't think he beat him.
Yeah. But the fact that some people are saying he beat Broner, the fact that he lost in a higher weight class, not at 140, the fact that I don't think he's ever been knocked out before. No. I could be wrong about that, because I haven't seen, I don't know if I've seen all of his losses, but I haven't seen if he's got knocked out. But, for a backup, pick, I don't see that as that bad of a choice.
It's not a cherry pick.
It's not a cherry pick. I mean, I think it would be better if Terrence Crawford maybe take on the guy who just knocked out Troy Yaneski for the I think the I don't know what other belt. I think the only belt.
Ricky Burns, April 22nd, I think.
What's that? The guy who beat Troy Yaneski, the African
Julius
guy.
Ndungo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ndungo. Okay.
But I tell you this.
Well, see, there you go. So he can't get that fight.
But let me tell you, Granados is proven to me, in his beating Imam and then fighting Broner in a tough fight. He's awkward. He has an awkward style. It's going to take a minute for Bud to try to figure him out and crack that puzzle, because Broner couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I think that if he can figure that out and he can stop this guy when nobody else can seem to get, when he went in there and knocked out the young master and then go over there and give AB a tough fight, I think that would be a huge feather in. That'd be somewhat of a
I just
feather
want to see if he can. I want to see if Terrence could do something that other cats couldn't do. And can he knock out Granados? I mean, that would be, if he could do that, because we see how tough and durable Granados was. He took some of Broner's best shots, and Broner is not a pillow-fisted fighter. Yeah. And even Maidana said he was impressed with Broner's power. So, he's not a pillow-fisted fighter.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I love Terrence Crawford. He's my favorite fighter. I just want him to get the respect he deserves. So hopefully he can get all them belts by the end of this year.
But I had one more thing I wanted. Oh yeah, shout out to the young master, Amiri Imam. I'm hoping he can come back.
We hoping, man.
After his loss to Granados. I think he had a good. They just sometimes, man, these matchmakers they don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what they're doing. But Dontae, a lot of respect to you, man. Shout out to both y'all, man. I hope I can get to y'all tomorrow night. Appreciate y'all doing the Sunday night show, man. Keeping boxing alive. Much love to you. We're going to have a great 2017. Y'all have a good night.
Hey, you too, man. All right, love. Take care, man. Take care, man. Yep.
So we're looking for the young master, and we're looking for Douglas.
And we talked, and Milt, we talked about that. We've been talking about that as how these guys come back from suffering their first loss, especially a knockout loss.
Yeah.
And we ain't heard nothing about Amir Imam. Somebody asked me that. They was like, hey, man, what happened? What is Amir Imam doing right now? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
But he got to work on his inside game, man, because he had no answers to Granado's inside work in that fight.
Yeah,
he had no answers at all.
Neither did Broner.
Yeah, Broner.
It was kind of hard for Broner.
No,
he had to step back and get some distance.
No,
when he pressed him against
Broner
the ropes,
was throwing the uppercut. He was throwing the uppercut on the inside. Well, actually, to me, it's the contrary, Milt. He didn't step back enough to create space. He was allowing Granados to smother him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Granados kept smothering him to where Broner had no space to punch. But if he would have did, like I said, what Gervonta Tank Davis did when he fought against, I think it was a Medina, I forget the guy's name, but he fought an opponent on Free TV on the undercard.
Talking about when he gave the angles?
When he gave the angles, he took a step back, threw that uppercut, knocked the dude out because the dude kept coming in with his head down, in a high guard.
Right.
And he finally figured it out, took a step back, knocked him out with the uppercut. But anyway, hey, go ahead and Milt, let them know what we got this week,
Let me tell y'all, man, the hits just keep on coming. 2017 is rolling in, man, like a tsunami with all these good fights, man. And next week, after this fight, after we done had Garcia, Thurman, we done seen Erickson Lubin last week, we done seen Wilder. The fights just keep coming. Next week, we got David Lemieux, Curtis Stevenson.
Nice.
Stevens.
We got fight, man.
Gamboa, Alvarado, Rene Alvarado.
I didn't even know about the Gamboa one until you told me about that. That's a damn shame.
Let me tell you, that was one fight that got canceled for next week. That if it had, we would have had a chance to see Gary Russell Jr. Against Escandon, but that unfortunately Escandon was injured. I think his back was injured during training, so they had to cancel that fight. But don't worry, because Jamel Charlo is fighting Charles-Hatley. And the winner of that fight, do not forget, Lubin has to face Lubin sometime later on in the year. And then finishing up the weekend, it'll probably be starting the weekend because they start ahead of us, but that's going to be Andrade-Caucay against Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, that's
so.
And that
let
Charlo,
me tell you, man, this is just and then following week after that,
the big one. Yeah,
Triple G,
Golovkin,
Danny Jacobs.
Golovkin, Danny Jacobs. That's a
and
big one.
And Chocolatito is on the undercard with Quadras.
On the undercard. How dope is that? That's pretty cool, man. Putting them both on the undercard.
These fights, man. 2017 is looking up, man. This may be the year that brings it back to the mainstream. So y'all make sure y'all show support. But in just to give a couple predictions, I'm going Lemieux over Stevens.
Woo! Are you?
I'm going Lemieux over Stevens.
Oh boy, I'm glad you said that. You woke me up with that one. No, I'm messing. No, I got to go with Curtis Stevens on that one, man. I got to go. Somebody that's that easy. Unless David Lemieux turned into a masterful boxer, he go ballerina style, as Keith Thurman would say. I just can't see his defense, avoiding that left hook all night. That left hook,
be tough.
That left hook but see, this is the flip. This is the flip. He's like a coin, Curtis Stevens, because if you last the first half,
yes, he gasses.
He starts to gas.
He fades.
He starts to fade. That's the key word, fade. He starts to fade in the later rounds. So he almost has to get you out in the first 6 rounds, or it has to be going completely his way.
Yeah.
If he even survives later on in those rounds. I mean, we've seen that so many times where he looked very impressive in the first half, but I'm still going to have to go with Curtis on that one. I could be wrong. You might be right on. I don't know, but
I just think that
I'm
straight
leaning
right
towards
is going to
Curtis.
catch him.
Okay. You think the straight right is going to catch him?
I think straight right is going to catch him. Maybe around I'm saying maybe 8 or 9.
So it's Lemieux's right versus Curtis Stevens' left hook.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be.
That's what it's going to be.
And
then I'm going Charlo over Hatley.
Oh yeah, I'm going Charlo over Hatley. You know, a lot of people don't know too much about Hatley. He actually got knocked out by Leonardo Tyner. And I meant to. I had him on the phone a couple months back. I meant to. We're gonna try to get him on the phone and maybe later on this week and see if we can get his thoughts before the fight. But yeah, I mean, he's a good fighter, though. It's just good to obviously note that he does have a knockout loss. He's a good fighter. And the funny thing, Milt, about this guy, man, is every time Charlo fought, there was always this big, like, brawl, almost commotion after the fight. And we like, what the hell going on? And you know why? It was because this dude, Charles Hatley. This dude Hatley, he show up and jump in the ring.
Yeah.
He did this in like the last 2 of the Charlo's fights. I was at the one when Charlo beat John Jackson.
You were telling me about it.
And there was a guy at the fight. This man looked straight like Floyd Mayweather. He looked like Floyd Mayweather. He had the big glasses, same size, bald head. Everybody thought it was Floyd Mayweather. Everybody thought it was Floyd. It was Charles Hatley. And then next thing you know, he was sitting there all calm and everything. After the fight, all of a sudden we see commotion and like, what's going on? Charles Hatley had jumped in the ring. So, hey, Charles, you getting what you wanted now.
Hey, man.
You getting what you wanted this weekend.
Hey, man.
Let's see what happened. But we're going to go to DJ Star real quick. She's been checking out the comments in the comment section. So what we got, DJ Star?
Hey, Dontae. We have a Mac D. He wanted to know, what do you think about Crawford? Do you think he would beat Maidana?
Oh, Maidana? Did they really ask that question? Yes. I mean, that's a fantasy. You know, you teasing us with these fantasy fights, man, because that would be a great fight. But no doubt about it. Terrence Crawford, he would destroy Maidana, man.
I don't know about
But
I think he beats him though.
Maidana coming in 20 pounds overweight. I mean, not overweight, but him coming in, he rehydrates. Bigger. There you go. Mm-hmm. Him coming in 15 to 20 pounds bigger than Terrence Crawford the night of the fight, like he did against Mayweather, like he did against Adrian Broner. That would kind of change it a little bit. And one thing I will say about Maidana is every fighter I've ever interviewed, and I've had him on a radio show, all different type of fighters, from Francis Bartholomew to Jesus Chuy Gutierrez, a lot of different fighters. I always ask them this question: who was the hardest puncher, or who did you learn the most from, in sparring or even in a fight? And all of them said Maidana when it came to power. All of them said Maidana when it came to power. Even
Francis Bartholomew, vicious power, man.
Yeah,
vicious puncher. And the thing is, I don't think that he got enough credit in the 2 Floyd fights. Those were pretty tough fights for Floyd. I know Floyd made it look easy. But I'm here to tell you, man, Floyd had to work to win those fights. Man.
Oh yeah.
And in the second fight,
he had to work in both of the fights.
Both of them.
Yeah.
I was so impressed that when Floyd was doing that pullback counter, he was countering him on the pullback counter.
Yeah, he was countering him on that.
He was countering him on that, man.
Yeah, he was smart.
He was so it wasn't just the power, but he could make adjustments, man, and he could box. He wasn't no superior, boxer. But
He's a very deceptive, good boxer, aggressive boxer. He's very deceptive with his style, and I noticed that.
And he presses.
I noticed that even with Floyd Mayweather when Floyd said, and I noticed it because I heard Floyd say it. He said when you think, all of a sudden he'll throw a wild ass right hand, and when you think he's gonna throw another wild ass right hand, he throws a perfect jab.
Yeah.
So it's like you get these wild shots, and then you get a perfect shot. Then he sets you up with traps, because the way he hurt Floyd, that was a trap. He set Floyd up.
That was a trap.
I think he threw a jab, and Floyd tried to counter it. And then Maidana's right hand got there before Floyd's counter got there. So like you said, he countered the counter, basically. He countered the counter. So, yeah, man. But let's try to take another call, man. Let's see what we got over here. We have, where are we at here? Okay, we got 317. What's going on, man?
Hey, yo, what's going on, Dontae? What's up, Milt?
Hey, what's good?
Where are you calling from? What's your name, man?
This MG calling from Indianapolis.
What's going on, brother? What's on your mind, man?
Man, first thing first, man. Congrats to Tony Bellew for winning over David Haye. I know it was kind of controversial, but I wanted to get to what he said after the fight. He called out Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, he called it.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. Wait. Tony called out Deontay Wilder? I didn't even catch that,
boy,
man.
He called out Deontay Wilder, and then his promoter, Eddie Hearn, backed him.
And you know what? I'm glad you told me that. I'm glad you let me in on that one. What's so funny is I uploaded the post fight conference, the interview.
He watching it on a choppy.
I don't know why. Maybe it's that UK. Maybe it's that UK accent, and maybe I didn't catch it, man. Because I
no. What it was, he went down to the
post fight press conference.
Like the post fight thing.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why I didn't
Anthony
catch it.
Joshua, and he talked with the black ball head guy, Nelson. I forgot his name, but first name, but his last name Nelson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The boxer, the former boxer. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
former cruiserweight champ.
And you know what, bro? When you think about it, the durability of Tony Bellew, that would actually be a competitive fight. I think
it could be a competitive fight.
Once again, we talk about listen.
Until
that's what I'm saying.
Listen,
I'm not finished.
Okay.
Washington versus Wilder was competitive, right? All I'm saying is if Tony Bellew, if he could walk through a couple of them right hands and get close to Deontay Wilder, I think that for a couple of rounds before he gets knocked out, I think it would be competitive. I think it will go maybe it'll go like 6 rounds and Deontay will get him out of there. But
you think he'll go 6?
I think he can go. The dude could take a shot.
He ain't big enough. The only reason why
I'm saying he's giving up 5 inches, man.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, he punching down. The reason he kind of gave pause a little bit with Washington because he looking at Washington eye to eye. And he had to figure out how much.
That jab, and he couldn't get past the jab.
He couldn't get past that jab.
Yeah, he couldn't get past
that man, just as big as he is, he had to figure out how he gonna break him down or get in on him to get land that right hand. With Bellew, you
don't see it going a couple rounds.
A couple, maybe.
I said like 5 or 6, but
I say 3. I say 3 at the most.
I mean, we all agree that Wilder would knock him out. I'm just trying to figure out how quick he would knock him out.
And Wilder needs to go over there, man, and go get that check.
Real talk.
And that could be a bigger fight because Bellew just be Haye, and they gonna promote it, right? So go get that check, man.
But that his mandatory right now is Bermain, and then he wants
Bermain Severn. I know.
He wants to
Joseph
unify
Parker against Tyson Fury. He want to unify the belts. But I agree with you, man. So. He should go get that money out in the UK. Mean, after Tony he beat BJ Flores, then he beat David Haye. I was
surprised he knocked out BJ too, man.
Yeah, and BJ and it's funny because BJ was kind of almost flailing with punches too. Like once he started getting hit because it's nothing special about Tony Bellew. He don't got no athleticism or nothing like that. He just come in. He a hard worker. I mean, you seen what Adonis Stevenson did to him, and so I know.
Yeah.
I see.
And I've seen stranger things done by these belt sanctioning bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Bellew's the WBC cruiserweight champ. I'm pretty sure if he decides to move up to heavyweight, they'll make him top 2 or 3.
Hey,
yeah.
If only you knew the politics, man. That went in behind these rankings, man.
They did it for Canelo.
Yeah. No, they've been over backwards and every different direction, every different damn direction for Canelo, man. Yeah. So we already know what time it is with him. But yeah, man, that would be a a good little paycheck for Deontay Wilder, man. But I don't even have a problem with the rematch, man, with the Wilder versus Bermain rematch. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it.
It's not the first fight. I would rather watch, me personally, I would rather watch Wilder versus the winner of Joseph Parker, Tyson. I
would too.
Not Tyson Fury. Huey Fury. Yeah, I would rather watch that rematch. So, but that's what it is, man. Hey, brother, but
all right. Second question. Have you guys made y'all decision for the Triple G and Jacobs fight yet?
Whoo, man, God.
I'm looking at Jacobs, man, and he's doing all the right stuff, man. He got Algerian helping with his nutrition.
Yeah.
Went to Virgin Hunter to pick up some more tips.
Sparring with Kerzitse and a whole bunch of,
He's doing all the right stuff to try to get that upset, and we seen things happen like Hay versus Bellew. Nobody gave Bellew a chance. I didn't.
I didn't either. Man,
this is such a tough fight for me, man. And I'm gonna be straight up, man. I'm gonna be biased when it comes to this one. I'm rooting for my country. I'm rooting for USA. I'm rooting for Danny Jacobs. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that he could pull it off. I mean, but it's hard to pick him and just calling it, just talking boxing without my personal feelings, because to me I see Danny Jacobs possibly winning this fight, winning the round,
win the fight,
and then I'm just wondering, is he going to get caught? Is he going to get caught later? In the fight, because it just seems like it may be one of these fights where Danny is up on the scorecards. But see, I could see this fight playing out so many ways, because I feel if Danny gets off first,
yes,
that might be a slow decline, the beginning of a decline for
I was
Golovkin
thinking the
whole
exact
night.
same thing.
Because I don't see Golovkin. Virgil Hunter brought up a good point, man. He said a lot of, and I don't want to stereotype, but he said a lot of the European fighters, they don't really have that type of inside, adversity to go through a dogfight, to basically, pull themselves out of a dogfight. Virgil Hunter was talking about how Costa Tszyu quit and how Sergey Kovalev didn't want to fight on the inside with Andre Ward, and he just mentioned a whole bunch of fighters. This not including Lomachenko, by the way, because he could do it all. But I know I'm kind of going a little off, but the point I'm making is, I feel that if Jacobs gets off first and he lands the first couple big shots, I feel that he can actually get Golovkin's respect, just like Thurman got Danny Garcia's respect. And that might be the beginning of the end, where he slowly, starts to, concede, psychologically in the fight.
I'll put it like this.
But
I'll put it like this. I'm rooting for Danny. But I'm betting on Triple G.
I'm
putting my money on Triple G.
That's kind of how I see it.
It's just so hard for me.
If I'm forced to bet, I'll be.
And I'll put it like this. I think Danny is more skilled. I think he is faster. I think he's more athletic. But I'll give you a great example, man. A couple weeks ago, Rashi Warren. I think he was much more athletic, much more skilled than the guy.
And Will beat skill that night.
That's right. Will beat skill. And it's just sometimes, if a guy comes to fight, it doesn't matter necessarily that the guy can't, put a good combination together. It's if he catching you with that right shot. Yeah. He controlling timing and distance. And Triple G is the
most
master.
Intriguing thing about that fight is, man, there's no rematch clause. So if Danny Jacobs wins, he can take the belt.
He take it all.
Go Billy Joe Saunders or something like that.
Yeah. And that's a very, very good point. Because if there's no rematch clause, that's good. But I'll tell you right now, I feel I would not be surprised. A lot of these aggressive fighters, they have somewhat of a bully mentality, and when you stand up to the bully. I wouldn't be surprised in the future, maybe this fight, maybe another fight. I wouldn't be surprised if someone pushes back with Golovkin, and he might even quit, and he may even quit on the stool. I mean, it's possible. We've seen Mike Tyson do it.
Never faced that adversity.
Yeah, dealing with that adversity. Dealing with that adversity. Golovkin is saying that he's gonna he has to fight smart. He said he has to fight smart because, Danny Jacobs, he has power and this and that. But that may work for Danny Jacobs.
Yeah.
Because if I feel Golovkin's best chance is to go balls to the wall and just be aggressive and try to walk through Danny Jacobs' punches. If you try to go in there chess match style, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. So like I said, man, I'm rooting for Danny, but if you put a gun to my head and force me to bet, man, I may have to go ahead.
Got to bet Triple G.
I have to bet Triple G, man. Yeah. So hey, but I'm glad
I got 2 more questions, man.
Go ahead, man.
Do y'all think Terrence Crawford is going to be able to do what Triple G has done, and just like sit in that 140 division without
criticism,
HBO trying to put him up or something like that? Because we all know once Ricky Burns fight Ndogu, if he wins, he's not going to want to fight Terrence Crawford because Crawford has already took one of his belts.
That's a good point. We never thought about that. The fact that he may not even want that fight. Some of these guys. To answer your question, now damn well that's a rhetorical question, because when you on that, damn well when he on the coincidental list, what time it is.
Had to hear you say it, man.
Yeah.
I will say this though, a lot of people keep clamoring for him to move up in weight.
They did it to Broner when he was at 135.
I know. But Broner had to. I think he aged out.
Broner did. He had to move to 140. He didn't have to move to 147.
Yeah, he didn't have to move to 147.
Yeah. But with like you said with Terrence, Andre Ward, they made him move up to fight against Sergey Kovalev. You know what I mean? But they made him move up. No, they made Virgil Hunter told me that.
That's Virgil what he says. That's his side. It's 2 sides to every story.
Yeah, but why would he lie on HBO though?
I will say this. HBO shady as hell.
Listen, man.
So,
listen. Hey. I asked Andre Ward. I won't doubt that. I asked Andre Ward at the press conference. I said, that they asked you to move up. Did they give you an incentive? He wouldn't answer the question. Not straight up. He just basically said, "Let's just say this. They gave me a good deal." So that means that
what goes around comes around. Look at
that's
HBO
true.
now.
Yeah, look at HBO now.
My last question though, who is the biggest star in boxing? I hear everybody says it's Canelo, but man, I'm looking across the pond. This guy got 17 fights and he's selling out Wembley Stadium, man, 90,000.
Anthony Joshua. You talking about Joshua?
Yeah, man.
Well, see that's the thing. Because when you're talking about worldwide, I know they say America is the place to be, but yeah, when you could sell out arenas, and he was selling out arenas when he wasn't fighting nobody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know. At the O2, man, he was fighting bums, and he got 20,000 there, man, screaming for him.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And Kirk, there are bums, man, in this boxing business.
Anybody can get it. We all thinking about that, the B word since you said that. The best way to probably put it, Milt, is you got to respect anybody who's going to get in the ring and take punches for a living. Or even if they just got in the ring one time, you got to give anyone respect.
Yeah. But, I'm not saying they're like a bum in life. I'm saying,
but that's what comes to mind. Like they went and got a bum off the street.
No.
Put him on some trunks and some gloves.
No.
All we doing, and I agree with you, my man. All we doing is rating how good they are. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
You either get an A in class or you get an F.
I can go with cab driver. I can go with cab driver. I can go with.
It don't matter what word we use.
Delivery guy. I can use those because the thing is, sometimes some dudes do have a second job. Look at Joe Smith. This dude was working in construction.
A bomb is a bomb. A bomb is a bomb, and it's BUM. It's a bomb. You know what I mean? It's just a boxing terminology. It just basically
I know,
means,
man, but I hate to hear it.
But all we're saying is they're not that good. That's all we saying. They're just not that good. You're being compared.
Say that.
You're being compared to other boxers. That's what we're doing. We ain't comparing them to people who don't box. We comparing them to other boxers. So if you got a guy who's an A level fighter versus a guy who's an F level fighter, he's a damn bum. You know what I'm saying? That's just all that's to it. But anyway, Hey, man, but good.
Termite on you. Hey, man, good talking to you, brother, man. Hey,
that was real good stuff.
I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all,
good insight, man.
Take it easy, man. Have a good night, man. Love what y'all doing, man. Keep boxing alive.
Appreciate it. Hey, thanks, brother. We need more people calling in like you, man. Yeah, man.
All right, man. I call in next week, bro. Y'all take it easy.
All right. Take care, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, man. So we're going to go ahead and say thanks to everybody that was on hold. Sorry we couldn't get to all you guys. We're going to have to go ahead and wrap it up. Milt, anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, just shout out to PBC for keeping the fights coming. We'll keep pumping it. We'll keep pumping it. We'll keep talking about it. We'll do our part over here. And we're just looking for bigger and better things in 2017, man.
Absolutely, man. And, as always, man, I thank all you guys for tuning in. This was just an experiment. We were doing the show on Sunday just to, because I know everybody is relaxing. Like Milton said, we wanted to reach a couple more people who wasn't working and all that kind of stuff and just hang out with us. So we won't be doing the show this Monday. We replacing it with this show today. But I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. Thanks to my co-host, my man Milt in the building, DJ Star over here. You guys going to be hearing a little bit more about her on the mic. So that's what we're going to do. So we will see you guys next week. I'll give you the heads up, to let you know if the show is going to be next Sunday or next Monday throughout the week. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks to the sponsors once again, ashkicking.com. Hey, go ahead and check out their products. Seriously, man. We got you, Milton, you smell it right now, right? Yeah. We got it in the studio right now. We got that vanilla pumping right now. So go check out the website and just show support, man, to these small businesses, especially these brothers, they going out on their own. They don't got no boss. So just, show them some love, period. Just go check out the website. And also, if you guys are out here in Las Vegas, come check me out at the Box Fan Expo. We'll be there. We're going to be doing a live show there. We're also going to be selling shirts. We're going to even probably give out a couple free shirts to some of you guys. So go ahead and it'll be May 6th at the Box Fan Expo. Go ahead, man.
Just one more thing. Hey, if y'all could, give us some feedback on how y'all felt about, the show on a Sunday versus a Monday.
Absolutely.
Let us know how you feel about it because we want to try to, get the show to you while the fight is still fresh in our minds, while everybody's still relaxing over the weekend. But if the Monday works, y'all let us know one way or the other. We appreciate it.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is, man. So, yeah, man, we will see you guys next week. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We on to the next one. It's the Nation, baby. See y'all next week.
Peace.